The morning started like any other at Kensington Palace, with staff members quietly preparing for what they thought would be a routine day. Prince William had scheduled a private meeting with his communications team, something that happened regularly. However, those who knew him well could sense something different in his demeanor as he walked through the palace corridors. Sarah Mitchell, his longtime press secretary, noticed the tension in his shoulders as he entered the meeting room. William's usual warm greeting was replaced with a brief nod, and his face carried the weight of someone who had spent sleepless nights wrestling with difficult decisions. The morning light filtering through the tall windows seemed to highlight the worry lines that had become more prominent in recent months. The meeting began with routine discussions about upcoming royal engagements and charity events. William listened politely, occasionally nodding, but his mind was clearly elsewhere. His fingers drummed silently on the polished mahogany table, a habit that only emerged when he was deeply troubled about something important. Then, without warning, William stood up and walked to the window overlooking the palace gardens. The autumn leaves were falling gently, creating a peaceful scene that contrasted sharply with the storm brewing inside the palace walls. He remained silent for several minutes, watching gardeners tend to the flower beds that had been his mother's favorite spot. When he finally turned back to face his team, everyone could see that this was not going to be an ordinary meeting. His usually bright eyes had taken on a serious, almost somber quality that reminded those present of the difficult moments the royal family had faced in the past. The atmosphere in the room shifted immediately. With everyone understanding that something significant was about to be discussed, William cleared his throat and began speaking in a measured tone that commanded attention. He explained that he had been having ongoing concerns about certain decisions being made within the royal household, particularly regarding public appearances and family representation. His words were carefully chosen, but those who knew him could detect the underlying frustration that had been building for weeks. The prince revealed that he had been receiving reports from various sources about activities and plans that had not been properly discussed or approved through the usual channels. He emphasized the importance of maintaining the dignity and reputation of the monarchy, especially during times when public opinion was particularly sensitive to royal actions and decisions. As William continued speaking, it became clear that his concerns centered around what he perceived as unauthorized initiatives that could potentially damage the royal family's standing with the public. He spoke about the need for better coordination and communication among family members, ensuring that all public activities aligned with the monarchy's long-term strategic goals. The room remained silent as William outlined his expectations for how things should proceed moving forward. His tone was firm but respectful, making it clear that while he valued everyone's input and contributions, there needed to be better oversight and approval processes for major decisions and public statements. The meeting concluded with William requesting that all future plans and initiatives be reviewed more thoroughly before implementation. He stressed the importance of presenting a united front to the public and media, especially given the current political climate and ongoing challenges facing the country. The seriousness of his message was unmistakable, leaving everyone in the room with a clear understanding that changes needed to be made quickly and effectively. Word of William's serious meeting spread quickly through the palace's informal networks, though details remained carefully guarded. Staff members who had worked in royal households for decades recognized the signs of significant internal discussions taking place behind closed doors. The atmosphere throughout the palace became noticeably more subdued as everyone waited to understand what changes might be coming. Meanwhile, at Clarence's house, Queen Camilla was in the middle of planning what she considered to be important initiatives for the upcoming months. She had spent considerable time developing programs focused on literacy and supporting victims of domestic violence, causes that were deeply personal to her and had gained significant public support over the years. Her private secretary, James Henderson, had been working with various charitable organizations to coordinate a series of high-profile events that would showcase these initiatives. The plans were ambitious and would involve significant media coverage, celebrity endorsements, and international partnerships that had taken months to arrange and finalize. Camilla felt particularly passionate about these projects because they represented areas where she believed she could make a real difference in people's lives. Having faced her own challenges with public perception over the years, she was determined to use her position to highlight causes that truly mattered to communities across Britain and beyond. The Queen Consort had been receiving positive feedback from focus groups and public opinion polls about her charitable work. For the first time in her royal career, she felt that she had found her authentic voice and was making meaningful contributions that extended beyond traditional ceremonial duties and obligations. However, as the day progressed, subtle changes in the palace's communication patterns began to emerge. Phone calls that would normally be routine started taking longer to arrange. Meetings that had been scheduled weeks in advance were suddenly being postponed or canceled without clear explanations. From the relevant offices, Camilla's team began receiving requests for additional information about their planned initiatives, including detailed timelines, budget requirements, and lists of all individuals and organizations involved. While such requests weren't entirely unusual, the timing and urgency suggested that someone was conducting a more thorough review than typically required. The most telling sign came when several media contacts who had been briefed about upcoming announcements began calling to confirm whether the plans were still moving forward as scheduled. It became clear that questions were being asked at multiple levels about various royal activities and commitments. Camilla noticed these changes but initially attributed them to normal royal protocol procedures. Having learned to navigate the complex administrative systems within the monarchy, she understood that last-minute reviews and adjustments were sometimes necessary to ensure everything met the highest standards and expectations. Nevertheless, she couldn't shake the feeling that something more significant was happening behind the scenes. Her instincts, developed through years of palace life, suggested that the increased scrutiny might be connected to broader concerns about royal family coordination and public presentation. As evening approached, the Queen Consort made the decision to reach out directly to understand what was happening. She believed that open communication would help resolve any concerns and ensure that her charitable work could continue without unnecessary complications or delays that might affect the people and organizations depending on these initiatives. The palace's press office found itself in an increasingly difficult position as royal reporters began asking pointed questions about upcoming events and announcements. Experienced journalists who covered the royal beat regularly had noticed unusual patterns in the way information was being shared and confirmed by different royal households. Rebecca Thompson, a veteran royal correspondent, had been working on a story about Queen Camilla's charitable initiatives when she discovered that several key details had changed without official notification. Events that were supposed to be confirmed were suddenly being described as under review, and press releases that had been promised were being delayed indefinitely. The situation became more complicated when other royal watchers began comparing notes and realized that similar communication issues were affecting multiple royal households. Social media started buzzing with speculation about internal disagreements. Though most of the discussion remained within professional journalism circles rather than reaching the general public immediately, palace insiders, speaking on condition of anonymity, began sharing carefully worded observations about increased security around certain meetings and more frequent discussions between senior royal household staff members. These sources emphasized that while disagreements within royal families were not unusual, the current situation seemed to involve more formal procedures than typical family discussions. The most significant development came when royal protection officers were seen conducting additional security sweeps of areas normally used for informal royal family gatherings. This suggested that sensitive conversations were taking place that required extra privacy and protection from potential surveillance or eavesdropping. Attempts. Royal biographers and historians who maintained contacts within palace circles started receiving calls from their sources. Though the information being shared was deliberately vague and often contradictory, some suggested that the discussions involved questions about royal protocol and proper procedures, while others hinted at more substantial Disagreements about public representation and family image management, the speculation, reached a new level when palace staff members noticed that certain meeting rooms were being reserved for extended periods without the usual calendar entries that would normally indicate which royals were meeting and for what purposes. This level of discretion was typically reserved for the most sensitive discussions involving national security or major family. Crises television royal correspondents began preparing background reports about royal family decision-making processes and historical precedents for internal palace discussions. While they couldn't report specifics about current events, they wanted to be ready with context and analysis if major announcements or changes were forthcoming. The uncertainty began affecting planned royal coverage in newspapers and magazines, with editors uncertain about whether to proceed with scheduled royal features or wait for clarification about upcoming events and announcements. Several publications decided to delay printing certain stories until they could confirm that the events and initiatives being covered would actually proceed as originally planned. International royal correspondents also began paying closer attention to British royal family activities, recognizing that any significant changes or disagreements could have implications for royal families worldwide and the broader institution of constitutional monarchy. The global interest added another layer of pressure to resolve whatever issues were being discussed privately as the media attention intensified. Palace communications teams found themselves walking a careful line between maintaining normal operations and managing growing curiosity about what was happening behind the scenes. Their challenge was to continue royal business as usual, while avoiding any statements that might inadvertently confirm or deny the speculation that was beginning to circulate more widely. The tension reached a critical point when King Charles returned from his scheduled engagements to discover the growing controversy within his household. Having worked tirelessly to establish his reign on principles of modernization and family unity, he was deeply concerned about any situation that might threaten the stability and public perception of the monarchy. Charles called for an immediate family meeting, something that hadn't happened since the early days of his reign, when major policy decisions were being established. The king understood that internal disagreements, if not properly managed, could quickly spiral into public relations, disasters that would undermine years of careful reputation building and public trust. The meeting took place in the king's private study at Buckingham Palace, a room that had witnessed countless important royal family discussions throughout history. Present were William, Camilla, and several senior advisors whose discretion and judgment Charles trusted implicitly in handling sensitive family matters. William presented his concerns systematically and respectfully, emphasizing his commitment to supporting both his father and stepmother, while ensuring that royal activities maintained the highest standards of coordination and public accountability. He explained that his message wasn't meant as personal criticism, but rather as a call for better communication and planning processes. Camilla listened carefully to William's presentation, recognizing the validity of some concerns, while also explaining the importance of her charitable initiatives and the positive impact they were having on communities across Britain. She emphasized her commitment to the royal family's overall mission while expressing her desire to continue making meaningful contributions to society. The king found himself in the challenging position of mediating between two people he cared about deeply, both of whom had legitimate perspectives and concerns. Charles recognized that William's future role as heir to the throne gave him important insights about long-term royal strategy and public perception management. At the same time, he valued Camilla's dedication and the genuine good work she had been accomplishing in areas that had previously received insufficient royal attention. Her efforts had helped modernize the royal family's charitable focus and had earned respect from organizations working on difficult social issues. The discussion evolved into a broader conversation about royal family coordination, decision-making processes, and the challenges of balancing individual royal initiatives with collective family representation. Everyone agreed that clearer communication protocols could prevent similar situations in the future while allowing each royal family member to pursue their passions effectively. Charles proposed establishing regular family coordination meetings where major initiatives could be discussed and aligned with overall royal strategy. This would ensure that everyone remained informed about upcoming activities while maintaining the flexibility for individual royals to pursue their specific interests and expertise areas. The king also suggested creating better feedback mechanisms so that concerns could be addressed promptly before they developed into larger issues. He emphasized the importance of maintaining family unity while respecting each person's contributions and perspectives within the broader royal mission and responsibilities. By the end of the meeting, all parties had agreed to implement new procedures that would improve communication and coordination without stifling individual initiatives or creativity. The focus remained on serving the British people effectively while maintaining the dignity and effectiveness of the monarchy as an institution. The agreement included provisions for regular review meetings, clearer approval processes for major initiatives, and enhanced communication between royal household staff members to ensure everyone remained informed about relevant activities and decisions affecting the royal family's public representation and charitable work. Following the family meeting, palace staff began implementing the new coordination procedures with careful attention to maintaining operational efficiency. While improving communication between different royal households, the changes were designed to be seamless from the public perspective while creating better internal systems for planning and coordination. Senior palace officials worked together to develop new protocols that would ensure all major royal initiatives were properly reviewed and coordinated without creating unnecessary bureaucracy or delays. The goal was to maintain the spontaneity and authenticity that made royal charitable work effective while ensuring better overall strategic alignment. Camilla's team received updated guidelines about information sharing and approval processes. Though these were presented as improvements to existing systems rather than restrictions on her charitable activities, the Queen Consort appreciated the clearer structure and recognized that better coordination would actually strengthen her ability to make meaningful impacts. The new procedures included regular briefings between royal households, shared calendar systems for major events, and improved communication channels for addressing concerns quickly before they became larger issues. Staff members from different royal offices began meeting weekly to ensure everyone remained informed about relevant activities and potential scheduling conflicts. Royal protection teams also implemented updated security protocols to accommodate the increased coordination requirements while maintaining appropriate privacy for sensitive family discussions. These changes were designed to protect both the royal family's safety and the confidentiality of their internal planning processes. Media relations teams across the royal households began working more closely together to ensure consistent messaging and avoid any confusion about upcoming events or initiatives. This coordination helped prevent the kind of mixed signals that had contributed to recent speculation and uncertainty among royal correspondents. The improvements became apparent almost immediately as palace communications became more streamlined and efficient. Royal staff members reported feeling more confident about their ability to provide accurate information to media contacts and external organizations working with the royal family on various projects and initiatives. Queen Camilla's charitable work continued with enhanced support from the improved coordination systems, allowing her to focus more effectively on the causes she cared about while ensuring her activities aligned with broader royal family objectives and scheduling requirements. William expressed satisfaction with the new procedures, noting that they provided the oversight and coordination he had been seeking while respecting everyone's contributions and maintaining the flexibility needed for effective royal work. The Prince of Wales felt that the changes would help strengthen the royal family's overall effectiveness and public standing. King Charles praised the collaborative approach that had led to these improvements, emphasizing that the royal family's strength came from their ability to work together effectively while respecting individual perspectives and contributions. He viewed the new procedures as an evolution of royal operations rather than a response to crisis. The enhanced coordination systems also created opportunities for better collaboration between different royal charitable initiatives, allowing family members to identify areas where their work might complement each other and create greater overall impact for the causes and communities they served. Royal household staff members adapted quickly to the new procedures, appreciating the clearer communication channels and reduced uncertainty about planning and coordination requirements. Many noted that the changes actually made their jobs easier. By providing better information and clearer decision-making processes for handling complex scheduling and planning challenges. Several weeks after the implementation of new coordination procedures, the positive effects became clearly visible in the royal family's public activities and media coverage. Royal correspondence noticed improved consistency in information sharing and fewer last-minute changes to scheduled events and announcements. Queen Camilla's charitable initiatives proceeded successfully with enhanced support and coordination, allowing her to achieve even greater impact in her work with literacy programs and domestic violence support organizations. The improved planning processes helped her team identify new partnership opportunities and avoid potential scheduling conflicts with other royal activities. The Queen Consort publicly acknowledged the value of working more closely with other royal household teams, noting in interviews that collaboration had strengthened her ability to serve the causes she cared about most effectively. Her comments were seen as gracious recognition of the improvements while maintaining focus on her charitable mission. William's role as Prince of Wales was enhanced by the better coordination systems, allowing him to balance his growing responsibilities with his father's reign while ensuring his own initiatives received proper planning and support. The improved communication helped him feel more confident about the royal family's strategic direction and public representation. Royal staff members from different households reported improved working relationships and better job satisfaction as a result of the enhanced communication and coordination systems. The changes had eliminated much of the uncertainty and confusion that had previously complicated their planning and operational responsibilities. Media coverage of royal activities became more positive and focused on the charitable work and public service rather than speculation about internal coordination challenges. Royal correspondents appreciated the more reliable information flow and clearer communication from palace press offices. The royal family's approval ratings showed steady improvement as the public recognized the increased effectiveness and coordination of royal charitable work and public engagements. Opinion polls indicated that people appreciated seeing the royal family working together smoothly and efficiently to serve various causes and communities. International observers noted the successful resolution of internal coordination challenges as an example of the British royal family's ability to adapt and improve their operations while maintaining their core mission and values. Royal experts praised the mature approach to addressing concerns through dialogue and collaborative problem-solving. King Charles expressed pride in how his family had worked together to improve their coordination and effectiveness, viewing the experience as evidence of the monarchy's continued evolution and modernization. He emphasized that the changes had strengthened, rather than restricted, individual royal family members' ability to pursue their passions and make meaningful contributions. The new coordination procedures became a permanent part of royal household operations, with regular reviews to ensure they continued meeting the family's needs while adapting to changing circumstances and requirements. The system proved flexible enough to accommodate individual royal family members' evolving interests while maintaining overall strategic coherence. Looking forward, the royal family felt better equipped to handle future challenges and opportunities with improved communication and coordination systems, supporting their individual and collective work. The experience had demonstrated their commitment to continuous improvement and their ability to address concerns constructively, while maintaining unity and effectiveness in serving the British people and supporting important causes worldwide.